Welcome back to another practice video for the ACCUPLACER exam. This is Emily G tuning in, and in this video we will be looking at arithmetic questions that I have compiled from College Board's practice app. So here we have just simple 20 questions that we'll be going through. The practice app randomizes any questions that would be on the ACCUPLACER for you to practice. Keep in mind this practice app is free and accessible to all. Okay, so let's start off with our first question. In a science class, each student starts with 100 points. During the semester, John lost a total of 20 points from exams and 4 points from homework. How many extra credit points would he need to have a total of 85 points at the end of the semester? Okay, so John is he's in a bit of a predicament here. He's losing his points. So, we know that he starts off with 100 points, okay? And then he loses 20. So we'll subtract 20 from exams, and he loses another 4 points from homework. So that leaves us with 76 points. So, our friend here, he's at a 76. That's a C. And he's trying to get to 85, which is, he's trying to boost up his grade to a B. So we can just simply do 85 minus 76, which is going to give us 9. So he just needs 9 points to get up to that B. Okay, next question. What is 14 times 12? So, as we've done before, we're just going to set up our problem here. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 1, 2. Carried down is 0. 4, that's 1. Our final answer, let's write a arrow here since we don't have a lot of space. We have 168. Okay. What is 1,242 over 91 rounded to the nearest integer? Okay, so no need to panic here. What the question is just asking us is that it just wants us to divide the 1,242 by 99 and rounding that number. So let's set up our table here. We have 99 on the outside. On the inside we have 1,242. So let's start off by doing, let's see, what can give us around 1,000 or so that we can multiply 99 by? We can actually do 99 times 12 on the side, which is going to give us 1,088. And so we're going to subtract 1,088 here. So we'll put a 12 here because we know no single digit number is going to get us to the thousands. So we now have 54. We can add a decimal right here, and we'll add one up here to have a 0 drop down, and now we have a 0. If we multiply 99 times 5, we'll get 495, which is going to give us 45. We can add another 0, drop that down. If we multiply 99 times 4, that's going to give us 396. Oh, there goes my pen. Okay. And then this is going to give us 54 again. So we already got a 54 right here, so we know this is going to keep repeating, and if you want you can solve that, but we know it's going to go 5 4 5 4, and it's going to be a repeating number, right? So that's why it's asking us to round to the nearest integer. So we're just going to round this. So 12.5 rounded, it's going to give us 13. Okay, let's move on to the next page. The floor of a rectangular room is to be covered with square floor tiles with 1-foot sides. The floor of the room is 18 feet long and 12 feet wide. If the square tiles cost $4 each, how much would it cost to completely cover the floor with these tiles? Okay, so first we're trying to find how many tiles we need to cover this entire space right here, right? So again, we simply do 18 times 12. It's going to be 16. Carry the 1, that's a 3. Drop down the 0, 8, and then 1. That's going to give us, let's write this up here, 216 tiles or square feet of tiles that we need to fill this entire space. Okay, so then we know that each tile is $4. So then we just do the 216 times 4, and we'll get a whopping, let's see, it's going to be 24, 6, 8, we get 864 as our grand total. Okay, Next question. So here we just have to divide 7.54 divided by 4. So let's set up our division problem here. There's no number that can give us a 7, so we'll do minus 4 here. We get 3. 5 dropped on the 5, we can do 32. That's gonna give us, our decimal point does go there. It's gonna give us an 8. We have a 3 again. We can bring down the 4. Again, I'm just moving this a bit up because I'm running out of space. 34. So 34 minus 32 again, that's another 8. That's gonna give us 2. And if we add a 0, we're just dropping down a 0 right here. That's the one that's going right there, just if anyone's like confused right now. That's 20. We know 4 times 5 is going to give us 20. So our final answer is 1.885. Okay. On a number line, point Q is located at 1.6. The distance from point P to point Q is 1.02. Which of the following could be the location of point P on the number line? Okay. So let's draw a number line real quick. We have a number line, correct? So it's our very small number line. So point Q, let's say it's about here. So we'll label this one 1.6. That's point Q. And then the distance between point P and point Q, so let's say point Q could either be, it doesn't actually tell us if point P is in front of, is in front of or behind point Q actually. So we can actually go in either direction. We can go 1.02 that way, or we can go 1.0 that way. Okay, so by doing this, we can do 1.6 minus 1.02, which is going to give us 0.58, or we could do 1.6 plus 1.02, which is going to give us 2.62. Now, this number right here, well, these two numbers are possibilities, but if we look at our answer choices, 0.58 is the only number that actually pops up for our choices. Now, if you did have this, this number in the answer choice, it would also be correct, but again, it only gives us one option here. Okay, let's move on. What is the difference between 28.935 and 13.011 to the nearest integer? So this is just a simple subtraction problem, and then we're just rounding at the end. So let's set up 28.935 minus 13.011. That's going to be 4, 2, 0, 5, and 1. And so, oh, no, not 0, sorry. Let's rewrite that. 9, 2, 4. Okay, so we can get rid of these numbers that are not important. We're rounding to the nearest integer here, so we get 15.9. That's going to round up to 16. Okay, so which of the following statements is true? For this question, you could simply just look at it, and you can obviously, if you work well with decimals, you can obviously tell which decimals are bigger. But for the sake of this practice video, we're going to be converting these decimals to a fraction, so it's a bit easier to visually see. Okay, so we have 0.6, and let's, for me at least, it's easier to convert these decimals to fractions that have 100 in the denominator. So we'll convert the 0.6 to a number over 100. So this would be 60 over 100. 0.61, that's going to give us 61 over 100, and then the 0.7 is going to be 70 over 100. So now we just arrange these into either least to greatest, greatest to least. From what I understand, in the actual answer choices that we have here, it's going from least to greatest. So our least would be the 60. So we have 60. Then it would be the 61, and then it would be the 70. So now we just have to find which answer choice matches that. So there's actually only one that starts off with the 0.6. And that would be our first choice right there. Okay. 60 is 40% of what number? Okay, so the simple, many, including myself, are very unfamiliar with percentages, but once you get a hang of it and you learn the format or formulas for percentages, it's actually pretty easy. So for this question, we're going to set it up as 60 is equal to 40% of what number? And we'll change that to x. Now, you can't follow through with this type of setup, so we need to convert that to a number that is usable. So we'll divide this 40% by 100, and that's going to give us 0.40. So this would be 60 is equal to 0.4 times x. And now we just solve for x here, and we'll divide by 0.4, and our answer is going to be 150. And so if you want to visually actually see that with the table, we can do a roll multiplication. You can simply check your work by doing 150 times 0.40, or I'm sorry, 0.4. Let's not add that 0 there actually. Let's make our life easier. 0.4, 0, 0 carry the 2. That's a 6. We have one decimal, and that's our 60. Next page. Paolo paid $28 for a hat that was originally priced at $35. What percent was the hat discounted? Okay, so here we're looking for how much he got discounted. So we'll start off by doing 28 divided by 35. Let's fix that 5. And that's going to give us 0.8. So we know that he paid 0.8% or 0.8 of the full price. Or in other words, that's just 80% of the full price that he paid. So if we do 100 minus 80, that means he was discounted 20%. And that is our answer. Miles had 185 songs in his music library. He then purchased an additional 30 songs. The nearest percent, what was the percent increase in the number of songs in Miles' music library? Okay, so he starts off with 185 songs. And then that increase is 30 songs. So then he is left with a total of 215 songs. Okay, so we can set up this problem with a percent increase. So the percent increase can be modeled as 100. We have parentheses, the 215, which is the total number that he has, minus the starting number of CDs he had, or music, or sorry, not CDs, songs that he had. And then we divide that by the starting number again, which is the 185, and we close our parentheses. That's going to give us 100 times 30 over 185. We can do that math real quick. Let's do it to the side right here. Okay, we can do, let's set this up. It's going to be very small. 185, 30. Obviously 30 is a smaller number than the 185, so we're going to add a decimal point right there. We're going to put a 0 decimal point, and we're going to add like 2 something zeros, or actually no, let's add 1 0 for now. We're going to get that 300. Okay, so now we can drop this down to 300, and we can subtract 185 from this. It's going to be our 1. That's going to give us 115. We can add another 0. We can add another 0. We can subtract 1,110. That's going to give us 440, sorry. We're going to drop another 0 down. It's going to give us 400. We can subtract 370. I know things are clashing a bit here. Let's actually erase that. Ooh, just no. It's very wonky. Oops, sorry. Okay, that's going to be our little divider. We can do 370 here. And then we're back again with 30. So we know this is going to be a repeating number. But on the top, we have 162. We can easily go with those decimal, or that decimal specifically. So then this, let's choose a different color. This 100 times the 30 over 185. Let's move that up here. That can be written as 100 times 0.16. We're just going to round here, and that gives us 16%, and that is our increase. He had a 16% increase in music. Okay. If 42% of a number n is 8.4, what is the value of n? Okay, so again, we have another percentage problem, and this one is going to be set up a bit differently from our other one. So here we have 42%, which is going to be divided by 100, because, you know, we can't use this in math. It's going to be divided by 100 is times n is going to give us 8.4, my bad. So this is going to be 0.42n is equal to 8.4. And now we just solve for n. So we divide 0.42, and that's going to leave us with n equaling 20. Okay. Let's move on to the next page. Which of the following fractions is greater than 2 over 5 but less than 3 over 5? Okay, so for this one, we can just look at each of these answer choices and we can convert them to have the same denominator as these two up here. So let's start off with the 1.4. We can start off by doing, let's zoom in a little bit so I have more space. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here we have 1 over 4. Our common denominator here would be 20. So 1 over 4 is going to equal just to get the denominator of 20, it's going to be 5 over 20. And now these converted are going to be 8 over 20 and 12 over 20. So 5 is not greater than the 8, so that is going to be wrong. We know this is not going to be our answer choice. Let's move on to the next one. So our common denominator for the next one is going to be 35. So let's convert this one. This is going to be 15 over 35. And then let's choose a different color here. The 2 over 5 converted is going to be 14 over 35. And our 3 over 5 is going to be 21 over 35. Okay, so then our 15 is greater than 14 and it is less than the 21. Okay, so that could be our answer, but let's check the other choices. So now we have 3 over 8. Our common denominator here will be 40, so we can do 15 over 40. And then let's choose a different color again. Let's do blue. So then this 2 over 5 is going to be converted to a 16 over 40. And the 3 over 5 is going to be converted to a 24 over 40. So 15 is not greater than 16, so this would not be our answer. Okay. And finally, let's do the last one. We can again convert to have the denominator at 40. This is going to be 25 over 40. And let's choose one last color here. And here we have 16 over 40 again. And it's the same thing as the last one. It's going to be 24 over 40. So 25 is greater than the 16, but it is not less than 24. Meaning, again, this cannot be our answer. So our final answer is 3 over 7. Okay. Next question. Which of the following correctly orders the numbers in the given list from least to greatest? Okay, so here we're just doing another rearrange numbers, and we're going to convert these all to the same type of format. So I prefer to go with the decimal format since we already have a 0.75. So here we have 0.75. This 70% can be divided by 100, and we get the decimal 0.70. And then if we do 3 divided by 5, let's do 5. Let's do 5 on the outside, 3 on the inside, add a decimal point. We can do 30. That's going to be 0.6. Oh, that's a very wonky 6. 0.6 or 0.60. Okay, so now we arrange these from least to greatest. Our least would be the 0.60. Then we have 0.70. And then finally our greatest number is the 0.75. So if we look back at our answer choices, the lowest being the 3/5, then it's the 70%, and then the 75. That's going to be our final answer. Okay. 76% is between which of the following two numbers? Okay, so we're going to go and look at each choices or each answer choices, and we're going to convert these fractions to decimals, because again we can convert this percentage, divide by 100, that's going to give us 0.76. So we're trying to find which of these fractions right here is going to be, which of the 0.76 is between these two numbers. Start off with 1/5 and 1/4. So if we do 1 divided by 5, we get 0.2. And if we do 1 divided by 4, we get 0.25. And another way of looking at it, think of it as doing 100 divided by 5. That's going to give you 20. It's going to give you, because if you do 5 times 20, that's going to give you 100. That's what we're looking at here. Same thing with the 1/4. Think of it as one whole being 100, or if you do one whole, let's say it's 100, that's going to be 100 divided by 4, that gives you 25, divided by 100, 0.25. That's the type of logic that we're using here. So again, let's do 1 divided by 3. 1 divided by 3 is going to give us a repeating number of 0.333, and it's going to go on. That's our repeating number. And then we have 1/2, and again, 1/2 is going to be 0.5, or 0.50, because it's half. Okay, so now we have 2/3, and again, this is very similar to the 1/3, so we can actually just take this 0.3 and multiply it by 2, and we'll get 0.66 repeating. And then the 7/10 can be rewritten as 0.70. Okay, now we have 3/4. 3/4 is equivalent to 0.75. And then 5/6 is going to be 0.83 repeating. Okay, so our original number, let's do a different color. The 0.78 is between 75 and 0.83. So our final answer is a 3/4 and 5/6. Okay. Which of the following statements is true? Okay, so again, we have more decimals, and we just have to order them from least to greatest. So we have 0.2, we have 0.8, we have 0.9, and we have 0.801. Okay, so our smallest number here actually is going to be, we can easily just look at the number. There's no real big math going on here. So we'll do, our smallest is 0.2, so we know it's not going to be this one. Our next number is between the 0.8 and the 0.801. So this 1 right here actually means that the the 0.01 is greater than 0.8. So our next number would be 8 here, so it's not going to be this one either. Okay, and so now we know that 0.801 is greater than 0.8, and our biggest number is the 9, meaning our final answer is our third option right here. Very easy. It's very simple. Okay. Jordan has an extension ladder that currently reaches a height of 11 3/5 feet. She needs the ladder to extend to a height of 15 1/5 feet. How much longer in feet does the ladder need to be extended? Okay, so this is just a simple subtraction problem, except we're using fractions now. So we'll set it up as 15 with 1/5 minus 11 3/5. So now, you can't exactly subtract it like this. You have to convert these fractions to bigger fractions. Or, well, not bigger fractions. There's a name for them, sorry. to improper fractions. There you go. So we can actually convert this 15 1/5 to 76 over 5 minus 58 minus 5. There we go, and that's going to give us 18 over 5. And if we convert this back to a proper fraction, or a mixed fraction, sorry, that's what it is, a mixed fraction, we'll get 18, or we can just divide. We have 18 divided by 5, 15, that's 3, remainder 3, that's another remainder, so it'd be 3 3/5. Oh, it's very wonky, 5. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay, so our answer is 3 3/5. Moving on. Oops, sorry. The gas tank of Dave's car has a capacity of 12 gallons. The tank was 3/8 full before Dave filled its capacity. It cost him $2.50 per gallon of gas. How much did Dave spend in dollars to fill the tank to its capacity? Well, wow, Dave is living in the time when the gas prices were not crazy insane, so lucky him. Okay, so let's start off by, organizing our information. So, the tank was 3/8 full before he filled it, meaning that he had to fill 5/8 of that tank. So this is how much he actually filled up. So he filled up 5/8 of 12. That's why it tells us there's 12 gallons in this situation. So we can do 5 over 8 times 12 over 1, because we want to multiply fractions here. It's going to give us 60 over 8, which is equal to 7.5. So he had to spend money on 7.5 gallons. So we know that it cost him $2.50 per gallon of gas. So we're just going to do this multiplication. We can do it right here at the bottom. So we have, let's do the bigger number here. We have we can do 75 times 2.5, because we can drop the 0. That 0 is not needed here. We have 5 times 5. Oh, no, wait, sorry. We actually can use the 0, my bad. That's important for the decimal. So we have 2.50 times 7.5. That's going to be 0. 25. That's going to be 12. We bring down a 0. That's 0 again. We get 35. And then we get 17. Okay. So then we add these values up, and we have 7, 8, 1. We have 3 decimal places. So right here. So our total is 18.75. That's how much money he used on gas. Okay. So our last 2 questions for this video. We're almost there. Okay. Which of the following is equivalent to parentheses 7 over 4, parentheses 1/2? So this is just a very simple multiplication question. We're just multiplying fractions here. So we'll just rewrite this as 7 over 4 times 1 over 2. 7 times 1, 7. 4 times 2, 8. Our final answer is 7 over 8. And our last question of the day, 6 over 21 minus 5 over 7. Okay, so here, again, when you're adding or subtracting fractions, the denominator has to be the same before you continue calculating anything. So we can keep this 6 over 21, and we'll convert the 5 over 7 to have the same denominator as we want. So if we multiply 7 by 3, we get that 21. Whatever you do at the bottom, you do at the top. So 5 times 3 is 15. That's going to give us negative 9 over 21. Now, in some exams, you can leave, specifically if you have multiple choice, they can give you this. But as I'm sure many of your math teachers have taught you, it's best to simplify. Not all questions will ask you to simplify, but in this scenario, we will. So we can actually simplify this negative 9 over 21. It can be simplified to negative 3 over 7. as both can be divided by 3. And so our final answer is -3/7. And so that was it, folks. This was the second video of the arithmetic questions. Again, this was from the ACCUPLACER's practice app. Feel free to access this practice app on the ACCUPLACER College Board website. The site will give you multiple randomized questions that you can use over and over again to practice. That is all for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you!